Do you think every Toyota engine easily crosses 300,000 miles? In actuality, many of them end up with shocking repair bills. I know, not everyone is a car expert who understands engine sounds or warning lights. This is why in this video, I'm going to break down common problems with modern Toyota engines in the simplest way possible. Some of these problems start small and stay hidden, but number 8 can completely destroy your engine without warning. So, stick around. Let's begin with problem number 12, AR oil burning issue. As mileage increases, many 2AR engines develop oil consumption, even when properly maintained. In the sample vehicle, the engine was already burning oil, which led to switching from 5W20 to 5W30 to help slow consumption. This is a common real-world adjustment owners make as clearances increase with age. Oil burning lowers the oil level between changes and increases internal engine temperature. That creates a chain reaction. Higher heat accelerates oil breakdown, sludge formation, and bearing wear. If oil level drops too far between checks, the engine can suffer momentary oil starvation during cornering and braking. This problem is often made worse by extended oil change intervals. When oil stays in the engine too long, it thickens and starts depositing residue behind piston rings. That makes the rings less effective at sealing, which increases consumption further. Monitoring oil level between every fill-up using proper viscosity and shortening oil change intervals are the simplest ways to control this. Oil burning doesn't immediately kill a Toyota engine, but neglecting oil level does. The difference between a 300,000-mile Toyota and a failed engine is usually how closely the owner watches oil consumption. Problem number 2, $1,000 plus balance shaft replacement cost. Once the internal balance shaft fails in a 2AR engine, the most shocking part for many Toyota owners is the replacement cost, often exceeding $1,000 for the part alone. Unlike older Toyota engines such as the 2AZ, which allowed internal rebuilding of balance shafts, the 2AR shaft is sold only as a complete sealed unit. No bearings, no gears, no internal service components. Labor adds significantly to that cost. Accessing the balance shaft requires draining oil, removing the oil pan, removing the pickup tube and baffles, and carefully timing the shaft to the crankshaft during installation. This is precision internal engine work, not a simple bolt-on repair. What makes this more frustrating is that the actual failed component inside the shaft is relatively small, but because Toyota no longer supports internal service, owners must replace the entire assembly for one failing internal liner. This pushes many high-mileage Toyotas into a difficult financial decision, especially when the rest of the car is in excellent condition. Catching the failure early keeps costs lower by preventing secondary damage. Letting the rattle continue can lead to bearing wear, mount damage, and repeat labor. For Toyota owners planning to push past 200,000 miles, this is one of the most expensive hidden failures in modern 4-cylinder Toyotas. Problem number 3, early engine sludge buildup. Early sludge formation inside a modern Toyota engines is becoming more common than many owners realize. In the sample teardown, sludge was already visible on the oil pan baffle and near the pickup tube, even though the dipstick oil did not look completely ruined. This is how sludge silently forms in modern tight-tolerance engines. Modern Toyotas run hotter, at higher compression, and under higher load than older designs. When oil stays in the engine too long, it oxidizes, thickens, and begins forming sticky residue. Once sludge starts collecting near the oil pickup, it restricts oil flow long before the oil level appears low on the dipstick. This is dangerous because oil starvation does not always trigger warning lights immediately. Bearings, VVT gears, and balance shafts begin wearing under reduced lubrication while the driver remains unaware. This is how internal failures develop despite normal oil level readings. Extended 10,000-mile oil intervals greatly increase this risk in real-world driving. Short trips, cold starts, traffic, towing, and heat all accelerate oil breakdown.
Shorter oil change intervals, correct viscosity, and clean pickup screens are the only real defenses. Sludge is not just dirty oil. It is the foundation of premature internal engine failure. If you are enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice for my Toyota guys.
Problem number 4. Non-rebuildable balance shaft design flaw. One of the most important long-term ownership issues with the 2AR engine is that the balance shaft is completely non-rebuildable. Toyota treats it as a sealed component with no internal service support. Once the internal gear or bearing starts wearing, the entire assembly becomes scrap. This is a major shift from Toyota's earlier engineering philosophy. Previous engines allowed independent internal repair of balance shafts, making long-term maintenance affordable. With the 2AR, that rebuild option has been completely removed. This means that a small internal wear problem automatically becomes a major replacement job. From an ownership perspective, this design directly affects the car's usable lifespan. Many Camrys and RAV4s easily exceed 300,000 miles with basic maintenance. But when a non-rebuildable internal component like this fails, it becomes a financial bottleneck that can outvalue the car itself. For Toyota owners who value long-term reliability, this design makes early noise detection critical. Replacing the shaft before vibration spreads prevents cascading failures and preserves the rest of the engine. Waiting until vibration damages bearings, mounts, and timing components can push the engine into a full rebuild scenario. Problem number 5. Cold start rattle. From VVTi Gear. Cold start rattle in 2AR engines is commonly linked to a failing VVTi cam gear. In your sample vehicle, this exact failure had already been repaired. When the internal locking mechanism inside the VVT gear wears out, the gear fails to hold position while oil pressure is low during startup. This causes a loud rattling noise for several seconds until oil pressure builds. This sound is often mistaken for timing chain noise. While related to the timing system, the real issue is internal gear wear. As the gear continues to degrade, timing accuracy becomes unstable, valve timing control suffers, and long-term camshaft and chain wear increases. Cold start rattle is not just an annoyance. It is a mechanical warning that the timing system is losing its precision. If ignored, chain wear accelerates, cam phasing errors increase, and emissions performance can suffer. Once repaired correctly, cold start noise disappears immediately, and the engine returns to quiet operation. This repair is one of the most satisfying fixes on a noisy 2AR, because the improvement is instant. Like the balance shaft issue, early repair prevents collateral damage inside the timing system. Problem number 6. Oil pressure loss risk if balance shaft is removed. Some online advice incorrectly suggests that Toyota owners can simply remove the balance shaft and run the engine without it. On the 2AR engine, this advice can destroy the engine in minutes. The balance shaft contains a critical internal oil passage that is tied directly into the engine's lubrication system. If the shaft is removed without properly sealing or redirecting that oil flow, the engine immediately loses oil pressure. Without oil pressure, the crankshaft bearings, camshafts, and timing system are starved of lubrication. Friction rises rapidly, temperatures spike, bearings begin to smear and seize. Once that happens, the engine is usually beyond economical repair. The balance shaft is not just a vibration control device, it is part of the oil routing architecture of the engine. Removing it incorrectly creates a massive internal oil leak that the pump cannot overcome. It's one of the fastest ways to turn a running Toyota into a seized engine. Any modification involving the balance shaft requires proper oil passage sealing and pressure verification. Skipping that step is catastrophic. This is why Toyota's factory design never intended for this component to be deleted. Problem number 7. Severe engine vibration from incorrect timing. If the balance shaft is installed even one tooth out of alignment with the crankshaft, the engine will develop severe vibration, especially at idle and low-speed operation. The entire purpose of the balance shaft is to cancel out vibration from the four-cylinder rotating assembly. When it's mistimed, it does the exact opposite. It amplifies vibration instead of canceling it. This creates a harsh shaking sensation at stoplights, rough engagement when shifting into drive, and increased stress on engine mounts, exhaust components, accessories, and the timing chain system. The engine will still run, which is why this mistake sometimes goes unnoticed during initial startup. But within minutes of driving, the harshness becomes obvious. What makes this tricky is that installing the shaft visually close is not good enough. The shaft must be timed precisely to the crank key position and timing marks. One tooth off is enough to completely defeat its function. When this happens, the entire job must be disassembled and corrected. Correct timing restores smoothness immediately. Idle stabilizes. Driveline vibration disappears. Mount stress drops. This is why Toyota technicians treat balance shaft timing as a precision engine synchronization process, not a rough alignment. Problem number 8. Internal balance shaft gear failure. The true root cause behind the two AR engine's balance shaft noise is failure of the internal Teflon-lined gear inside the shaft assembly. This gear sits deep inside the balance shaft and is designed to stay tight and quiet for the life of the engine. Over time, heat, oil breakdown, and repeated vibration cause the lining to degrade. Once that lining breaks apart, the gear begins knocking internally every time the engine rotates through low RPM. This type of failure is deceptive because it does not trigger fault codes, warning lights, or check engine indicators. Everything on a scan tool may appear normal. The only real symptom is sound, a rattle that increases with temperature and low-speed operation. And because the problem is mechanical, no oil additive, no thicker oil, and no software reset can fix it. Toyota does not offer individual internal components for this assembly. Once the gear loosens inside the shaft, the entire balance shaft becomes a single failed unit. That design choice forces full replacement, even if only one internal part is worn. As this internal gear continues to degrade, vibration increases, oil film stability decreases around the crank bearings, and long-term bearing wear accelerates. This is why Toyota technicians treat balance shaft rattle as a mechanical failure condition, not a cosmetic noise. Problem number 9. 2. AR engine. Rattle at idle and takeoff. If your Toyota rattles at idle, rattles while sitting in drive, or makes a metallic clatter when pulling away from a stop, that sound is often an early warning sign of balance shaft failure in the 2AR engine. This issue is most common in early versions of the 2AR-FE used in the Camry, RAV4 Highlander, and several Lexus four-cylinder models. The noise usually starts light and rhythmic, then grows louder over months as internal wear increases. The balance shaft's only job is to smooth out vibration in a four-cylinder engine. When it fails, the engine doesn't just get noisy, it loses its natural balance. That extra vibration gets transferred into the crankshaft, bearings, timing chain, mounts, and even accessories. Many owners mistake this sound for a loose heat shield, a bad pulley, or an exhaust rattle. Unfortunately, by the time the noise is obvious, the internal gear has already started breaking down. Fixing the balance shaft restores smoothness immediately. Idle stabilizes, driveline vibration disappears, and the engine feels normal again. Ignoring it leads to accelerating internal wear, worsening NVH, noise, vibration, harshness, and eventually higher repair costs. For Toyota owners planning long-term ownership, this rattle is not cosmetic, it is a mechanical warning that should never be ignored. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to watch this one next, where I'm sharing one reset trick mechanic hates the most.